This afternoon, we are joined by Lindale offensive line coach Jacob Alford. Coach, how are you today?
I'm doing well, man. I'm glad to be here. Excited to talk about our kids a little bit.
Yeah, well, absolutely. Let's talk right about it. Let's talk about what y'all did this weekend. Went over to Abilene at Hardin-Simmons and won the 4A state championship in the Lineman Challenge. First off, just talk about that experience, bringing home a state championship in the lineman field.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I like to talk to our big boys about just, the skill guys got 7-on-7. And so as offensive linemen, defensive linemen, we try to find ways to compete every chance we get, And this lineman challenge deal, we've gone to a couple of them. And the last couple of years, we've been close. We finished in the top 5, top 10 both years. And this year, man, we were fortunate enough to go and get the job done. And kids fought their tails off. I'm just proud of the way it ended up.
Well, and so my question is, I know years ago when we were in school, for those that don't know, me and Coach Alford graduated together, Lindale High School. But when we were in school, that we had the Lineman Challenge in Winona. Now, it has blown up, and I think that was when it first started, too. But now it is blown up into a huge ordeal. So back when you were in school, the Lineman Challenge, to what it is now, how much different is it?
Yeah, so Hardin-Simmons University has kind of taken this thing on, and so there are several different lineman challenge groups out there that do this type of stuff. But I would say the official, state championship lineman challenge, if you will, is the Hardin-Simmons one, and they go around the state and they put on I believe they do 6 qualifiers. They do one, they do like a West Texas, a DFW, a East Texas, Central Texas, South Texas, and then maybe a Houston area. And so they get all the schools from all those areas, bring them in, and then they qualify, I think, the top 3 teams in each division, and bring people out to Abilene for the state championship the 3rd weekend of June. And so we go out there, and it ended up there were, I think, 68 teams and over 700 kids there for this lineman challenge, and that was all classifications. They crowned a 2A through 6A champion. So we won the 4A championship competing against, I think there were 14 or 15 teams that qualified. But to really answer your question, I mean, it's come a long way. It's not just the podunk thing that it was that me and you did back in the day. It's a big time and pretty official deal, and so to bring it home was pretty cool.
Well, yeah, and what Coach is talking about, I remember we had to push a truck up a hill. We were flipping tires, carrying. Then now I've seen the pictures from this weekend, and we're gonna show a little video of that when you're talking in a minute. But the video from this weekend, like, the things are just 10 times better than they were. Now, granted, it was about 14 years ago that we were doing this, but it's crazy to see how it comes. So is it kind of like how they do in 7-on-7, that they have these state qualifying meets or tournaments in 7-on-7? So it's the same thing for the Lineman Challenge, and is it just one state qualifier, you win that one and then you advance, or do you have to go through like multiple different ones?
No, it's similar to like 7-on-7, where you have to attend a state qualifying competition, and you have to finish in the top 3 in your classification to qualify. And so, when we qualified, we hosted the East Texas qualifier this year at Lindale High School, and so we did it in our indoor facility. Had several teams come out. Hardin-Simmons, they send their guys out and they put it all together and run it. And we won that one. We ended up finishing first. And the cool thing is we actually ended up taking 2 teams to the state in Abilene because our JV qualified as well. And so we were able to take 2 teams that qualified at that qualifying meet out to Abilene to compete.
That's so I didn't know that there was 2 teams that were out there that was competing too. So
yeah.
How did the JV squad do?
Yeah, so the way they do it is if your junior varsity qualifies, you compete a classification down. So since we're 4A, our JV qualified and they competed in the 3A state championship, and they finished in 10th place, which is pretty cool. They're competing against 3A varsities, so it's a good experience for our young kids. And, we like to talk about, like, some of those things, the tire flip and that type of stuff. Like, how much does that translate to football? I don't know, but what does translate to football is being willing to compete, and being willing to get after it at the drop of a hat and leaving it out there on the field. And that's what we're trying to train kids to do in preparation for football season.
And I know compete is a big motto in Lindale, especially for you. Every time I see you post something, it's that compete with the hashtag. So how, in seeing on over the weekend how it came down against Alvarado, that tug of war to win it all, and to see the video and to see the boys just compete, you're in their face yelling at them, encouraging them, but to see them compete, what does that mean for you as a coach to kind of see the kids, getting that mentality that you want them to have?
Well, so, we talk about compete, and if you notice, I spell it weird, right? It's EAT at the end. Well, that stands for effort, attitude, and toughness. And so, I'm a big believer that anybody can be a good high school football player if you display those three attributes, right? If you play with relentless effort, if you've got the right attitude, right, meaning a positive attitude, but also a nasty attitude as far as a football player, playing with physicality, and then just an ultimate toughness. If you do those things, anybody can be a good high school football player, regardless of athletic ability, talent, that size, that type of stuff. And so, the fact that it came down to a tug of war at the end, which once again, right, like how much does tug of war tell you about a football player? I don't know. But how much does it tell you about a competitor? I think it tells you a lot. And so if you watch that video again, you'll see that they kind of got the jump on us. And our kids, man, they just dug in. And I would say that, the effort was relentless. Their attitude was nasty and willing to do whatever it took to win. And, you got to be tough to hang on to that thing and fight your tail off for that long. And so I thought they displayed those attributes in the way that they finished on Saturday. And ultimately it led to us winning the whole thing. And, that's a pretty cool experience that I think those kids will remember for the rest of their life. Nobody talks a whole lot about who wins the state championship and lineman challenge, but I promise you this, those kids will never forget it.
Well, we've talked a lot about the kids today, and I know we were texting beforehand, so I don't want to put you on the spot, but go ahead and shout out some of those kids that were on that team and competed this weekend.
Yeah, so some of our seniors that I'm really proud of, include some guys like Jack Kirk, who started for us at center last year, Drew Ragland, who plays guard for us, Trey Roselle, who plays guard for us. We got Jackson Delivide, who's a tackle for us. And then we got a guy named Gunnar Johnson, who starts for us on the defensive line, but he kind of plays some O-line as well. And those five guys really, I would say led us and really set the tone for competing the way that we did. And man, those guys, I'm telling you, it doesn't matter, like, if you're playing a football game or if you're playing checkers, like, they want to beat your tail, and they're going to do everything that they can to make it happen. And so just seeing those guys and how happy they were whenever we got it done, and them kind of letting out a roar, and poking their chests out a little bit, man, it was cool. It was a fun experience.
Well, I'm happy for you. And on a different note, since you've taken over, been the offensive line coach and the powerlifting coach over there, I remember, again, when we were in school, you and Keith were the only two that went to state in powerlifting. How many did you have go this year?
Oh man, we had 4 boys and 6 girls this year, I believe, and we've had some success. It's been good.
That's what I'm saying. So I'm proud of you, friend to friend. I'm proud of you, Coach, for what you've done. You've done a great job over there, and at your alma mater. Can't get any better than that. So, yeah. Coach Alford, very happy for you and the big hog mollies up front, bringing home that state title. Let's see if we can go win one in football season.
Hey, I appreciate it. We're hopeful that it translates. Like I said, it's about competing, and that's what we're all about in Lindale, Texas.
All right, Coach Jacob Alford, thank you so much for joining us on East Texas Now.
Yeah, appreciate you, brother.
All right.